Hey everybody, it's Sarah, the Attic Stitcher. Today is September 13th, 2025. Today is Flosstube number 11. And yeah, welcome. Welcome to all my returning subscribers. Welcome to anyone new who's watching me for the first time. If you're new, a little bit of background. My name's Sarah. I've been cross-stitching for 3.5 years. Right? 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I started in 2023 and have been cross-stitching ever since. And in January, it will actually be 3 years of cross-stitching under my belt. I have 3 cats as well, so they are all in their active state. Well, other than sister, she says it's nap time. But brother and kitten are up and active, so we'll see if they make an appearance or not, or cause mischief somewhere else around the house. It's been 4 weeks since I last posted. I usually would have recorded 2 weeks ago, but 2 weeks ago I only had one thing to share, and it would have been a lot of progress to show on the one thing, but I was like, felt really bad to go from showing all of my whips from my whip parade I did with my sister to just showing one thing. So today is actually a pretty full episode. I have 3 whips to share. I have 2 fully finished items to share. I have a little bit of haul, and then I'm going to go over plans for the upcoming weeks. Usually people start with the finishes, but I stuck my whips on top of the pile, and I'm not going to try and maneuver around those. So we're just going to start with the whips, and then we'll do my fully finishes, and then my little bit of haul, and then plans. Sound like a plan? So we're going to start with the work in progress that I got so hyper-focused on. That would have been the only thing I showed you last time. And that is my Rapunzel from Make It Pink Designs, based off of artwork from Hannah Alexander. So this is what she looks like. So this is, oh my goodness, there we go. This is a kind of Art Nouveau style of Rapunzel that Hannah Alexander did. And Tangled is my favorite Disney movie of all time. So Rapunzel is my favorite Disney princess of all time. Maybe next time I'll pull out some more of my Tangled collection and share some of that with you. I like to change up what I have displayed every time. This time I went simple with just some pretty books. But anyways, so for where I'm at, let me do it this way, so that way it will hopefully not shine through very much for you all. Oops. Here she is. So there might not seem like a ton of progress on her, but I got hyper-focused on doing her skin. I'm doing her skin 1/1, and I don't know what happened to my brain, but my brain said, Sarah, we want to stitch 1/1 skin. And I was taking advantage of that, because if you've ever done 1/1 skin, you know it's so tedious. It's so laborious, however you say that one word. But it looks so good. So other than her like facial features, like her mouth and her eyes, I've finished stitching all of the skin in on her face. And then I've come down and I've worked on the skin in her neck. And I don't know if I got to share this last time, when I needed a little bit of a break, I put in some more regular threads, and I got some purple in on her. But I was taking advantage of feeling good about doing some 1/1 stitching. So that's what I did. And I'm gonna hold her up a little bit more here. She's a little easier to hold up that way. But I think she's going to turn out so beautiful with this 1/1 skin. She has a very, I don't know if you remember from the preview picture I just shared, but she has a very deep V-neck on her dress, so there's still a lot of skin left to do. So, but I'm kind of saving her eyes and mouth to do a little later because I think that's going to be so fun to see that come in. So I'm saving that as a reward. And my plan is once I finish all of the skin, then I'll come back and stitch her eyes and mouth. But all of the skin in her face is done, most of her neck is done, and I'm coming down into her chest. I think next time I pick her up, I'll do a little bit more on her dress, so that way I kind of get the boundaries for her chest in place, so then it's more so just outlining the different color gradients and filling in, which is what I was doing here. For some reason, on this side, I got an extra row in somewhere along here. I think I got off on her face because it's kind of a challenge to keep track of because you're doing 4 stitches for 1 stitch on the pattern. So I think somewhere in here I got off a little bit, and so I have like an extra row in here. But I'm just remembering that I just need to focus on anchoring off of this because this is right. And I do have my center line as well, so I just need to be sure to anchor off of this rather than trying to anchor off of that. And I think it should even itself out. I'm not going to get too worried about it. But this is Rapunzel from Make It Pink Designs, based off artwork from Hannah Alexander. I'm stitching this 2/2 on a 30 count Arizona Sunset from Jacksonfabricarts, who's on Etsy. I think right now they're on a shop break. I think that's just temporary. I hope so. But it's a really nice fabric. And brother, do not. He has a thing for knocking over my cans. I don't know why. And then I turned on their cat toy, and so I had to turn that off. Anyways, so that is Rapunzel from Make It Pink Designs. Next, this is one I don't think I've worked on at all this year. And actually the last couple of Flosstubes I've done, I've said, I want to work on this pattern, and I haven't. And this time I have. And that is, let me pull it up, oops. Jujutsu Kaisen Trio, another one from Make It Pink Design. This time, this is based off of artwork from Hanai Kariko. So the Jujutsu Kaisen is an anime that I watch, and the artwork is based off of the first closing scene of season 1, closing credits of season 1, which is just fun and colorful, and I love it. So I got that pattern, and here is where I'm at. Now, if you go back to my recent WIP parade, you're going to be like, wait a minute, there's stuff missing. Because I had stuff, some blue and stuff stitched along here. But the thing is past Sarah decided as she was working on this blue stuff, hey, I'm to a point now, I'm going to jump up here and start working my way down because that's just a more natural movement for me when it comes to cross stitch, is to go from top to bottom. So I decided that's what I was going to do. And so when I finally finished stitching all of this character and got down to where it connected with this blue, I realized I was off half a stitch this way and half a stitch this way. And I was so mad at myself. I was like, oh, no, Sarah, how could you? Because I'm already kind of fudging a bit because somewhere along the lines in here I got another extra row. I don't know how. So then I had to unfrog out. I had to frog out all of this. So that was fun. If you follow me on Insta, you'll see what I mean. But anyways, she is fully done cross-stitched. Now I've just got to finish the back stitching on her, and then it's an option of picking which character do I want to do next. So I don't know which character I'm going to do next. I guess the question is, do I do pink hair or do I do black hair? I don't know. I'll decide. This is Jujutsu Kaisen Trio from Make It Pink Designs. I am stitching this 2/2 on a 28 count Blush Lugana from Picture This Plus. It, in the preview picture, showed a more prominent pink modeling, and when I got it, it's basically white. In some lightings you get a cast of pink to it, but I don't know if this dye lot was just bad or what, but they're like, in some lighting you can get a pink tone to it, but it is the crystal, so it does sparkle. So that's still good. And that's kind of why I wanted it, is I wanted to do the sparkle. You can kind of see the shadowing from where I unpicked. Frogged out. It's okay, it'll be covered up. So, but that is Jujutsu Kaisen Trio. So finally worked on it this year. My third WIP to share with you all is my Winter Queen from Mirabilia Designs. Here is what she looks like finished. I started her in January of 24 for my birthday stitch, and I'm still working on her. I kind of had a goal to get her done this year before my birthday in January. That's probably not going to be happening, but this was a crazy year, so I'm giving myself grace on that. And I worked on her. We'll hold her up fully, and then I'll kind of zoom in on the section that I actually did the work in on. So here she is, fully in what I have finished, and she is just beautiful. I'm very excited to get her finished, especially now that you can see the folds and stuff of her dress coming in really nicely. So basically everything from here up is beading or whisper fur thread. And then I just have the stitching of her dress left. This time when I pulled her out and worked on her, I worked in this area. I kind of filled in this area. I'm trying to fill in all these gaps from where I was just hopping around and stuff, but I think this is all new, and then I was coming in here and filling in this. Yeah, I kind of did a lot of fill-in through here, and like I said, this is all new. I was actually getting a little frustrated because I don't have like Pattern Keeper or anything like that. I don't work through a program. I just use the Samsung Notes app on my laptop to mark off what I've done on my patterns. But because Mirabilia does paper patterns, I didn't have a PDF to work off of. So I was originally was just taking pictures and like trying to make the pictures clear enough for me to be able to make out the symbols and all of that, so that way I could mark off the stitches as I complete them. But as I was working on this part, I was getting so frustrated because it was just a mess. And at one point, Sister had jumped on my laptop and had like moved around the picture in the Notes app. And so I like struggled to try and get it lined back up with what I had marked off and stuff. And I was just getting very frustrated. And then it just kind of hit me. Sarah, just take it to work. You can make a personal scan of it just to use on your Notes app. And when you're done, you can delete the PDF and it will be fine. So I went to my work, because we have a big copier at work, and I made a PDF of the paper pattern and uploaded that into my Notes app, so that way it would be a lot easier rather than trying to stitch together like a bajillion different pictures of small sections. I have 4 pages of PDF scans because it wasn't quite big enough to get all of the front and all of the back of the pattern in one scan. So that's going to work so much better, I think, and make keeping track of what I've stitched on there so much easier. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Gothic Lugana from Picture This Plus. I felt like she deserved a background that would make her pop, and I didn't feel like the white that was called for was going to accomplish that. So I got a kind of dark, stormy winter blue instead. And that's WIP 3. So those are my cross-stitch WIPs. I did want to share another project that I was working on. This is one I had a lady contact me because I do a little bit of embroidery as well as cross-stitching. And she asked if I would be able to embroider some writing that she had on tablecloths. On a tablecloth, I mean. She has this tradition that she started around, I think they started it in 2020 because of COVID, where she got a tablecloth at Thanksgiving, laid it on the table, and then had everybody write what they're thankful for that year and put their name in the year on there. So she asked if I could embroider that because she just wasn't able to do that with her hands. So I've been working on that, and I don't care to show this because it's just first names and it's not anything personal, but like I've been back stitching in all of this, and there's a lot on here and all of that. But like this whole corner I have done. All of that is embroidered. I just have been matching the color of ink they used to write to the color thread and stuff. So because it's getting so close to November and there's still so many signatures, I decided I needed to get a start on this. So that's another project I've been working on in addition to my cross stitching. All right, WIPs complete. Now we're gonna move on to my fully finished items. I have 2 that I wanna share. One I've actually had done for a while. I finished cross stitching it last year and finished it, like fully finished it into a picture frame last year, but I redid how I had it put into the frame to make it better and more secure. And I've not shared it on Flosstube. I've shared it on my Insta, but I've not shared it on my Flosstube. So I thought I'll share this first and then I'll share my other finish that I'm very, very excited for. So this is Squirrel. This is by Svitlana Sichkar. She has her patterns on Etsy. I love squirrels. Squirrels are my favorite. And this was just too cute to pass up. And I was able to find this really cool, like it's got the live edge wood frame. And I we're gonna just cover up one thing here. And so I finished it. I laced it myself, and then I just refinished how I had it put into this frame. So now I can actually hang it up when I want to, and all of that. But there it is. My little winter squirrel wearing the most adorable sweater. So that is that finish. And now my next one. I shared this as a finish a few Flosstubes ago. My first finish of 2025, and now my first fully finished item of 2025. And I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. And this is my Poppies for Dad. I struggled finding a picture frame because when I started stitching this, I didn't think about centering it on the fabric. I didn't think about where I was starting it. I just started it. So I started it really close to the top left corner of the fabric. And I knew that I kind of wanted a round frame, but I was worried I wouldn't be able to do a round frame because it was so close, and I wasn't sure that I would get have enough fabric around the edges to accomplish, and it just barely works in this oval frame. But I think I centered it pretty well, and I washed it, I stretched it, I laced it, and I backed it. There's some things that I just don't want showed here, but I backed it. And now it's ready to hang on my wall. I'm planning to hang this up in my bedroom. My brother gave all of us siblings some picture frames where we could put pictures of us with Dad in them. So I have those hanging up on my bedroom wall. So I want to put this with them and all of that, but trying to avoid the glare. I think it turned out really, 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 really pretty. I stitched this 2/2 on a Sand Lugana from Picture This Plus. I used all of the called for DMC, except I made one change. This lighter orange is not the called for. I don't remember. If you go to my Instagram, you will probably be able to find that information. I don't remember off the top of my head what I switched it out for, but otherwise it's stitched as called for. And then for those who maybe aren't able to make out what it says, Dad, always willing, always sharing, always careful to be fair, always helping, always caring, when I need you, always there, ever loving, ever guiding, ever faithful, ever true, and moments of hesitation, Dad's wisdom sees me through. So I think it turned out really, really, really beautiful. I love the frame, and yeah. So this is an 11x14 frame, and it's, like I said, it just was just right, just perfect for being able to do this. So I'm very, very pleased with how that came up, and now I'm glad that now that I've showed it to you all, I can now hang it up on my wall. I didn't want to hang it up until I had a chance to show you all. All right, so that was the whips, that was the finishes. A haul. So the first weekend of September, Ashley, from Make It Pink Designs had a big sale on her Hannah Alexander patterns because it'd been 10 years since she started doing patterns with Hannah Alexander. And of course I had to get a couple, so I'm just gonna share. I bought 2 patterns. She did $10 off Hannah Alexander patterns, and so I bought 2 patterns. The first one I bought, There we go. First one I bought was her Anastasia. Again, this is based off of the Hannah Alexander artwork. So we've got Anastasia. This is her coronation dress at the end of the movie that she wears. And ooh, it's gorgeous. So gorgeous. And the other one I bought because I was showing off the patterns to my housemate. And she was looking through them and she was like, Sarah, what do I have to do to get you to stitch UA? I said, if you buy all the supplies and you don't pester me about getting it finished in a certain time frame, I will stitch her for you because these are just beautiful patterns. So this is UA. This is a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She has so many beads. Oh my gosh, there's like one bead that it calls for like 1,000 beads. So she's gonna be gorgeous. So I bought that as a part of the sale for my friend, my housemate. Oh, this fell. Okay. And then another part of UA pattern is there's some special beads that it calls for. So Ashley has those for sale on her website already, like pre-packaged, pre-divvied up. And it's one per customer if you've bought a frame. So I added it to my cart and bought it at the same time as the pictures or as the patterns. And so these are just some special beads that are going to be used on the UA pattern. Those came in, I think yesterday actually. So I think there's like 3 different types. There's like these bigger star buttons. There's these more crystal looking star buttons, and then these little star buttons. But there's enough in there with a few extra, I think, for what's called in the pattern. And they're optional. If you don't want to buy these beads, you don't have to if you want to stitch UA. But yeah, that's my haul. I think that's the first haul I've done. Is that the first haul I've done? I don't do hauls very often just because I don't buy things until I'm ready to do the pattern. So I don't do those very often. Anyways, next, we're at the end. Plans. Whatever I feel like doing. So actually today is Saturday, September 13th. Coming up between when I have my next Flosstube scheduled, I'm actually going on a weekend trip. I do a weekend trip with my mom and sister twice a year where we get together with a lovely group of ladies and we craft. There's ladies who bring quilts to work on. There's ladies who bring scrapbooks to work on. The last few years I've been bringing my cross stitches to work on. And we rent out a room at the lodge and just spend time in everybody's company and work on whatever we want to work on. And so that is coming up. So I expect that I'll have a lot of different progress to show you all next time I come around. I'm sad I'm missing out on another one of Lindy Stitch's virtual stitching weekends. I really wanted to do the midsummer, but it just did not work out to where I was available that weekend to do it. And again, I would have loved to do this one coming up for the fall season, but it's the same weekend that I'm doing this trip, and the place that we go to just does not have great Wi-Fi. So there's just no way I'd be able to participate. So I'm hoping maybe, I don't know if I'll be able to do Jingle Ball, we'll see, but I'm hoping to make it to one at some point. And otherwise, I think my plan is I want to keep working on Rapunzel. I want to put a little bit more work in on Winter Queen. I think I want to challenge myself to finish the final cat on my weekend retreat for my cats in flower hats. Just so that's done and I don't take it into the new year. I think that's going to be my goal for the weekend retreat. I plan to take all of my cross stitches because I just never know what I'm going to want to work on. But those are my plans. So have a stitchy weekend and work on cross stitch and hopefully finish the final cat. And I think that's everything. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I hope you all have a great time stitching, and I'll see you in hopefully 2 weeks. And have a great weekend, y'all. Bye.